Alrighty, just gonna wait for them to get the count in. Now that we're good to go. All right, and counting in we are. We're actually already live. Game is going. That was the fastest 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 that I've ever been a part of. So just seeing the opening rotations coming out, and Bloodbath and Beyond looking sharp. It seems like they've got the advantage here from the mid and top rotation. And it looks like a gank is being attempted here on Aurel in the bottom lane. But nothing really came out of it, just like the knockback. So maybe they were trying to prevent any type of lane disruption there. Blaze is actually going to be the one handling the top lane for Bloodbath and Beyond. And Sylvanas is going to be the one looking after the bottom lane here. An interesting way to set up your lane priorities, not the norm by any means. But maybe this kind of shakeup is going to throw Full Metal Jacket off their game. We can already see both sides of the map picking up their camps. And they both successfully do so. No one really looking to make aggressive plays here early. Some of the heroes are a bit talent dependent. Chromie definitely wants to make things happen sooner, but she's not exactly a roaming ganker. So it's kind of hard to be aggressive on the other team's side of the map this early on in the game. Fours are going to start coming in. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. We do have Bold Strategy instead of Renew, which is not the most common talent these days. But my support swears by it. An interesting pickup, though, is Endurance Stim Pack on Blaze. Quite often what you want to see there is the Self-Cleanse. If I can remember what the heck that thing is called. And and the Neural, the mana increase. So top camp's going to be picked up quickly by Bloodbath and Beyond. They're going to try to push that up, but the rotation comes through. And they're just going to clean this raid up. There's not really any outside support looking to stop that from happening. So again, a bit of mid-top rotation happening. But we're going to see priority actually coming up from Full Metal Jacket here first and foremost. Blaze clearing up and pushing up that top lane. I like that. They're looking to get their level 7s here, and they're sacrificing a little bit of time on the Shrine to see if they can find an advantage early. But there has been adjustments to this map recently enough that the first protector, second protector, and third protector hit a lot harder on structures due to the health pool of the protector being significantly higher. And I think they buffed the damage a little bit. I can't remember 100%. And now we see Bloodbath and Beyond looking to finally contest on this. They did allow 80% to tick out to grab that level 7s, and Full Metal Jacket's going to be pretty happy with that. They're just going to pop up here, grab their camp, and then kind of reapply pressure now in the top lane against Bloodbath and Beyond. And they still have plenty of time to do it. 81% is a good amount. But Bloodbath and Beyond is not allowing this to be a slow by any means. So they still have control. Big team fight coming in. Runtime Logic trying to push up in here. A bit of damage being spread across Bloodbath and Beyond, but they do seem to have a pretty good spot here now. with the boosted turret, enough to be able to secure it. So the plan of attack from Full Metal Jacket there to come back into the match was actually not successful, and they will just go ahead and give up. The first protector there. It was a bit unfortunate, but good defense. Chromie is really hard to siege into, so they're going to see if they can get the advantages that they're looking for. As we can already see, like, this thing takes a lot of damage, but look at Tychus just burning the health bar of that protector. And now Chromie and Lily are not in the best spot. Chromie trying to do some juke magic here. Might be able to pull it off, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. He's going to go down first blood, going to Full Metal Jacket, and they're going to also pick off Lily there in addition. So first protector going to Bloodbath and Beyond. They did get 2 towers, one in the mid lane, one in the top lane, and they did manage to grab the well. So not entirely unsuccessful, but probably want to grab those kills back, as I imagine that was not exactly what they were going for. I don't think they anticipated the damage coming in from Tychus. Level 10s now finally coming through on both sides. Jugs, Slowing Sands, Wailing Arrow, Combustion, as I did say before, and Mosh Pit, as it is the more common pick on Blaze these days, at least in these divisions. And on Full Metal Jacket side, we have Blessed Shield, we have Crushing Jaws, Light Bomb, Commandeer Odin, and Ardent Defender. So 3 major forms of CC in Blessed Shield, Crushing Jaws, and Light Bomb. Lots of setup to get their damage out. It's really going to be tough positionally for Bloodbath and Beyond on the next objective. But if they can get set up early, Slowing Sands can be such a pain in the butt. And it also combos pretty well with Combustion. It can kind of set that up, and that all kind of leads in from one to the next, where you kind of Slowing Sands makes them funnel into the right area. You get a good Combustion in, follow that up with a Mosh Pit. And you've got a recipe to win right there. I'm liking Q build Sylvanas here too as well. It just tends to be the safer strategy, especially since you don't want to step up and you want to outrange with Remorseless at 13. Sylvanas is definitely going to be able to do that into a Tychus. And hopefully it'll apply the pressure they need into these fights. A lot of range damage that we're going to get from Chromie Sylvanas. So if they play safe and really use their slows and knockbacks and all that kind of stuff like that to make sure they don't give up a good engagement to Full Metal Jacket, they really can play the long poke game here. I'm looking forward to seeing that. So we see another pickup in Full Metal Jacket, just making sure they've got these camps on lock, pushing it up, although Bloodbath and Beyond is matching them point for point. But we do see a slight advantage in camps with Full Metal Jacket, as they were able to grab up the healing item. Next one's going to be another 35 seconds, but the objective is going to be available now. 13s is almost a dead heat race. We're going to see a bit of a gank here onto a Rel, but it's from the 2 frontliners. There's no damage available, so it's kind of hard to step up into a Rel without damage dealers, as she can tank through anything that ETC or Blaze are going to put out. We see a nice stun coming out from Blaze, but nothing fully committed. But that distraction in the mid lane was enough for Sylvanas to get onto the point and channel out about 23%. 13s have hit on both sides. And Sylvanas did not go Remorseless. She went Windrunner. With this build, I definitely would recommend Remorseless well over Windrunner, but you know, that's just the way I feel about it. Regardless, we're going to see the conversion coming in from a Full Metal Jacket onto the objective. They're going to start channeling away here. I don't know what, and see, this is kind of what we don't want Bloodbath and Beyond to be doing, is getting into this position where they are forced to assault in, because as soon as they step up, we're going to see the knockback come from Morel. Is going to pop Lily right off the bat. She did not even get Jugs. It was actually interrupted. We have the Mosh Pit coming in to see if they can disrupt things up, but all that CC coming up from Full Metal Jacket secures 2 more kills. Both Blaze and ETC are eliminated. And that's going to be a first objective going for Full Metal Jacket. So far in these team fights, they have not been successful for Bloodbath and Beyond with a 5-kill lead. +5 on the night, as I like to say, from Full Metal Jacket. So they didn't go for the top fort, which I think at that point with 3 kills, they totally had the window to do so. They're going to siege down the mid fort, which is fine, and they're just going to walk this down to the bot lane, which is still generally the strategy we like to see on this map, as bot lane is the next objective. You know you can't really end the game with the protector in the top lane, so just going to get a head start on that. Ignore the top fort, it's not a big deal. And doing a pretty good job of it. This is a bit of a difference. In the last assault coming in from Bloodbath and Beyond during the objective, Tychus was able to just burn that health bar of the protector super fast. In contrast, it's not the easiest thing here for Bloodbath and Beyond to do, especially since Sylvanas seems to be playing the offlane role. Like, it's not Blaze that's sitting up there in the top lane dealing with the macro. It's actually Sylvanas constantly doing it, and that definitely limits your poke into the protector. So Full Metal Jacket backing off here. They have a couple squishies in there with, you know, semi-low mobility, so they're not wanting to really step up with the protector dying. But I do still feel like they could have got a heck of a lot more out of that fort there. Probably not pushing the advantage quite as hard as they could have. Not utilizing that beefy health bar as much as I'd like to see regularly. So both camps going to be picked up again by Clockwork. I do like the macro approach here from both teams, and you know, to Bloodbath and Beyond's credit, they still have not lost a fort here, despite being a level behind. Well, not quite, half a level behind in 5 kills. You're gonna see the healing item again, kind of default go to Full Metal Jacket, but they didn't have 16s, so they didn't want to get themselves into a big fight. Now they're using Merc Queen to see if they can really siege up this top lane with this this camp, and it is going to be able to survive a bit long, but no one there, and the rotation comes in. 4-man, the Rel making sure that the double soak is happening here. Level 16 is coming through. We are going to see evasive fire from Sylvanas. We're going to see heat treatment from Blaze. Interesting. We're also going to see Showstopper, which is very common. 2 for 1. On the other side, got Bonds of Anguish, but we have Invasive Miasma. I'm not really up to date to Orphea builds these days, as I'm not really a mage player anymore. So perhaps this is the way to go. All right. So we have a 4-man rotation. They're looking to pick somebody off here, but it's a 5-man group of FMJ. I don't really want to see too much aggression popping up here without the Sylvanas. Level 16 is here. Everyone trying to make their races to 20, maybe prior to C objective, which is quite common. I mean, the time between objectives is quite long on Bull Sky. There was proc here hitting 30-second countdown now happening, so 20 is definitely not going to be a thing quite yet. And both teams realizing that is the case. You know, Bloodbath and Beyond still has plenty of time to get back into this game. They've stayed within a half a level of experience. But the invasion here is going to come in place with Blaze showing top. Full Metal Jacket knowing they can use their 5-man squad to kind of bully off this this camp. And now they're going to be sitting with 2 healing camps and 2 turrets versus 1 whole turret from Bloodbath and Beyond. In fact, they're going to do their own little invasion here on the other side of the map to make sure that they can get themselves a bit more item economy here, because they are seriously lacking. But the Blessed Shield comes out with the follow-up Light Bomb. Moshpit's going to land on 2 on both frontliners. Clutch and Jaws having to come out to stop that. Combustion about to be hit, and they do kill the Orphea. Sylvanas able to get her out of here. Arel dropping very low, and this is the first big fight for Bloodbath and Beyond, and that is a 3-for-0, 3-for-1, 4-for-1. Sylvanas walking away with 25 health. Absolutely insane. Anduin trying to get out, doesn't get hit by the fire stream from Blaze, stays alive, and that was a fantastic fight. The Blessed Shield Light Bomb combo came out a little early and only hit the front line of Bloodbath and Beyond, and they were able to turn that fight in their favor, mostly because of, I think, they were too trigger happy with the ultimates at the beginning of that fight from Full Metal Jacket. So seeing them slip up here actually gives Bloodbath and Beyond a way back into this game. And with 45% already channeled, 15 seconds still on Tychus before he can come up, and Chromie sitting here in defense, this is looking like a protector for Bloodbath and Beyond. I don't really see a successful assault of the bottom lane in the cards here for Full Metal Jacket. It's going to be a tough one here. And it looks like they're poking in, but 20's just hit for Bloodbath and Beyond. So they are going to bail. They're going to walk out. And one thing to note, too, as well, item economy was used almost completely by Full Metal Jacket, and they still lost the fight in that choke. I attribute that good mosh pit buying a lot of time. Also, getting the last form of CC onto ETC allowed the backliners to get the positioning they needed to get the damage into everyone else, and that's exactly what happened. I'm also not sure if I saw Commandeer Odin in that fight. Now, Bloodbath and Beyond making an interesting call here. They're not going to leverage the 20 advantage because it wasn't there very long to push into bottom keep. Instead, they're just going to walk up here and look to see if they can eliminate the first tier of defense. Tyka stepping up. Nice combustion is going to land on... Oh, he held it too long. It only landed on Orphea. Though Orphea is still hurting pretty bad. She's going to have to back out of here. Anduin's going to struggle to heal her up right away. She can get her own self-healing in, but that does require her to balance it on the edge of a knife. Odin coming out to see if they can counter siege this protector a little bit, but we can see late game protectors, they just eat damage. They don't care. They got so much health on it that this strategy of taking the front tier of defenses is almost certainly going to work for Bloodbath and Beyond. They are banking on a later game fight to go their way. Odin is still going with Big Red Button, as that was what was picked up at 20s, and they're looking to see if they can take the fight here, but that protector's no joke these days, and it does deal a lot of damage in the late game. Irel actually getting poked down pretty hard by it. Blaze looking for the follow-up stun. Doesn't really manage to land it. There goes the glove, but it's not going to hit on anyone. And I would say that defense was relatively decent there for Full Metal Jacket. They did not lose all 3 forts, which is nice. But map control is in favor of Bloodbath and Beyond. 20s that came in, we have the upgrade. Nope, Mistweaver coming out from Lily. We do have Piercing Sands, although that should have been taken a couple levels ago. Deafening Blast from Sylvanas. So the upgrade to her Wailing Arrow, which does do a lot more damage. It does help with the burst. Invade, though, coming in from Bloodbath and Beyond. They really don't want to give up this map control. This fight went in their way already. We see a stun, actually. I think that was Blessed Shield being burnt onto Blaze. Again, the front line just tanking through it, and Bloodbath and Beyond still very much ahead in this fight. And now it's Arel that's in big trouble. She doesn't even have Ardent Defender up. It's another 5 seconds, and it's not enough time. She's going to go down. That is a successful invaded camp. Bloodbath and Beyond just looking great in the late game here on Volskaya. Really putting the screws to Full Metal Jacket, which, as Full Metal Jacket is the #1 seed. Oh, Orphea looking like she might go down. The last hit, almost avoiding it with a great leap from Leap of Faith coming from Anduin, but not enough. She goes down, and they're going to steal that camp and get another staggered death. I mean, this really couldn't go any better for Bloodbath and Beyond. And taking that kill and turning it into a macro advantage is not something that we see all the time here in Division D. Definitely seeing the best of the best coming out here right now. I love this siege. They're leveraging that Sylvanas to get themselves an advantage, and those 2 kills absolutely can turn into a keep here. Now, sieging to Odin can be quite risky, as he does wipe out most of the wave behind, so we're going to see shots starting to hit the frontliners, and they're going to have to be careful here. There's no bunker to save them, but Jugs comes out to keep everybody alive. wonderful usage of that, low kind of cooldown ultimate. Li trucking them through it. They take the mid keep, and this opens up a win condition for Bloodbath and Beyond. I am super excited about this. They have map control. They're painting the whole thing red. And Full Meta Jacket's really going to have to bring it out here at the last team fight of the game on the next objective. They want to set up early. They want to set up first. The one good thing about the mid lane keep being down is that's the easiest one for them to defend. But this top port is not going to live long. This camp will push onto their top keep if they don't clear it out. And that should buy Bloodbath and Beyond the time they need to set up here. But instead, they're just going to go for a 5-man push into the top lane. I think that camp was going to get that fort anyways. They should have just cleared the wave. We see Full Meta Jacket trying to make a bit of a counter siege play for themselves here in the bottom lane. As this is the weakest one, it's the most open, it's the most damage. And here comes the rear rotation, a great stun there or a root there on Crafty to make sure that he does not get that big stun. But things still not looking great here for Full Meta Jacket, and that's a 2-man mosh pit. And that might buy the time they need to be able to kill Irel here. But it's Orphea that's going to be going down. Great fight for Bloodbath and Beyond. ETC does get the knockback onto Irel and does secure the kills. So that's going to be 3 for nothing. Bloodbath and Beyond, with this wave in the mid lane, could actually take the game right here and now. And I think that's going to be their rotation, although it looks like they're still split focused here. When they're going for the camp and looking for the objective. I think with 3 heroes down and Odin on cooldown, this is prime time to take the game. We see the pings actually coming through, and they finally agree with me and say, hey, why don't we just win? And that looks like we're going to see first game number 1, Bloodbath and Beyond, coming in the late game and finding victory. Congratulations. That is the way to go. It's still not over yet. They're still trying to bump this down, but I still think the death timers are too low or too long here, and that is going to be the game. So, GG, Bloodbath and Beyond. Alrighty, there, looking at the end game statistics, we saw really good value from Tychus throughout most of the game. He definitely was the strongest member I felt coming out from Full Meta Jacket and put a lot of early pressure onto Bloodbath and Beyond. Enough that they lost the second objective, and I thought that's kind of where the tipping point of momentum was going to come out. But securing 3 major team fights there near the mid-end of the game, especially on that last or the C control point where they get the camp invade. After that, they just never let it go. Blaze coming out on top in almost every category for Bloodbath and Beyond, and a actually decently high amount of hero damage too as well. So fantastic game from Bloodbath and Beyond, and kind of what I was looking to see from these guys. We'll take I guess a bit of a break here as we set up for the next game, and we'll be right back. Alrighty, folks, welcome back. We are here for game number 2 between Full Metal Jacket and Bloodbath and Beyond, and we had a awesome upset coming up, not for Full Metal Jacket, of course, but from Bloodbath and Beyond, taking game number 1 on Volskaya. So we're going to see if Full Metal Jacket can get something going on their map of choice, which is Dragonshire, and see if they can come back up, even up the series, and make that push to the division finals. So we're going to see first ban coming up from Bloodbath and Beyond. I think Dragonshire is one of the safest ones to map pick on, especially if you have a good strategy in place. Macro is really what we like to see here. Good macro play on this map generates good rotations, which lead to ganks, which lead to advantage team fights. It's all about finding that ability to get ahead and then just keeping the pressure on. As soon as you start falling behind on the macro, it becomes a lot harder and a lot more about getting those fights from behind to be able to turn the map control back in your favor. We're going to see Dahaka ban here, and it's a great ban. We saw the ban on Volskaya, not exactly the ban that I'm looking for there, but here is a different story. Dahaka makes a huge impact on this map in particular in the right hands, and we're going to see Kael'thas again being eliminated there, but we can see with that popularity and win rate, it should not be surprised if you see a Kael'thas player on the other side and you're in a division below Heroic right now, it's probably a good ban. See what we're going to get from Bloodbath and Beyond. I loved their drafting strategy from last game. They had a plan, they executed it, and Greymane's going to be removed again. They really don't want that competition on the macro on that, and they're probably limiting someone from the other side there. But as we can see, he's maintaining a decent win rate. I always consider anything above 45% okay. It generally, especially with higher skill cap heroes like Greymane. So it's not doing too terribly here in Division D. So definitely worth a ban if you feel like someone on the other side is playing it well. Jaina is going to be removed again, so both mages completely out. But we saw a great Chromie game in game number 1 from Punk RK Pirate. But Crafty Trent is going to take a first pick Blaze. Now, we saw it in 1-2 spot rotation the last game, but first pick priority is pretty insane. But given how well Blaze was played the last match, especially with Crafty Trent's record on the hero, I'm not surprised at all that they want to get it so high up there. Now, ETC is going to be the pickup. Now, we saw Blaze ETC come out from Bloodbath and Beyond, so that's going to be a bit of a denial pick there. And, those two heroes work really well together, so it's good to remove that. But what we did see last time was Kira banned, and Giant Llama is going to go ahead and grab that with the Johanna pickup as well. So again, tanks just swapping sides because they're so highly prioritized, and neither of them was focused in the ban phase. Mephisto is an interesting pickup here, as Mephisto is not commonly played, but in the right hands can be very good. I am concerned about its macro capabilities on this map, though. But as long as they find something in their draft to kind of make up for that, it should be perfectly fine. Gul'dan going to be removed. They just don't want that incessant bot lane control that Gul'dan gives you. Even actually mid-bot rotations he's very good on, as his wave clear is very good. And Gul'dan's got great siege pressure, so not a bad choice to remove here. You can also look at things like Junkrat. Zagara can be played here in that same kind of style and slot. But again, if Gul'dan is what's commonly, if you're drafting, it's really good. Anduin is the ban. And we saw there Anduin was played quite well. He did have a couple really good leap of faiths that, came very close to turning fights. The light bombs, though, were a little bit haphazard, but that's more about communication rather than skill on the hero itself. But good to just remove it. He can be such a pain in the butt when you're looking for those ganks. So Brightwing Alarak, this draft is getting pretty spicy here. Alarak is not going to add much to the macro. His wave clear is okay. Brightwing is good on the global side of things. But I do still feel like Full Metal Jacket is looking very heavy at teamfight and not very heavy at gank or macro play. And we'll see what we get from BBB to round this out. Morales,
This
Li
rally
Ming.
needs me.
Now, as soon as you see Morales, a lot of time you go, oh man, this is Juice Pirates. But A, Dragonshire not a great Juice Pirates map. And B, that's not a great Juice Pirates comp. So I really hope that's not what we're going to see. What I'd like to see is the stim pack on Kira for to boost her auto attack damage and speed in fights, as that can be pretty impactful. We're going to get Leoric to round this out. Probably my favorite pick now from Full Meta Jacket is that Leoric, as it brings in some of that macro play. What I've seen some players do on this map is they use Leoric to rotate between mid and top lane, and then they'll just four-man with that Alarak, Mephisto, Brightwing, ETC, and basically dare BBB to fight them. And Li Ming is not my favorite macro mage, so I think things have kind of evened out here a little bit. But Johanna Blaze still probably wins the wave clear. Kira's pretty good on camps, is not bad on the lane itself. So I still think the advantage slightly does go in favor of Bloodbath and Beyond in that department. So macro-wise, I still think they've got a shot here. But Leoric, if he's double soaking and they're not ganking him, is going to be pretty good. But they do have a good gank squad. Kira Li Ming is a frightening combo when it comes to out-of-bush ganks. And Leoric's going to have to watch that because he's got only so many tools to avoid dying in those situations. Burst damage can be really painful for the Skeleton King. And we can see Punk, RK Pirate, big mage player, Kael'thas, Jaina, Li Ming are his top played hero. Fantastic stats, actually. This seems to be like their ringer that they've brought in quite recently, and we saw great play from Chromium last game. We'll see if we can get even better from Li Ming, but without further ado, we're going to be getting right into the game here, and immediately it goes right into a pause. Hopefully they'll count this down, and hopefully I'll count it out fine. Let's see what the explanation is going to be. Oh, we have to remake because Brightwing. Yep. I was totally clueless. I didn't even think about it. And then I finally look up at chat and they're like, it's banned. Okay. Guess we're gonna redo it. Shit. Brightwing. I can't keep track of all the bans, guys. I don't know. I mean, no, it's all right. I can entertain this. I can entertain the crowd here. No problem. No problem. Just waiting up for it. I did finally see the note. Thank you, Wono, Ektar, everyone shouting it out in game. So yeah, looks like we're gonna have to do it again. Take number 2. I'm pretty sure we redraft here. As all the consecutive picks and bans at that point kind of become moot because you're operating more or less on the assumption that Brightwing's in the game. It's just an oversight. It's not worth getting big up on. I don't think you can force a forfeit or anything out of this. It's just we just redo it again. It's unfortunate, but shouldn't take that long if we can get the lobbies going. Yeah, the bug that's happening right now is that Brightwing heals in vehicles. I think it also works on Volskaya. I'm not sure. But yeah, so the idea is that the healing is coming out regardless, and we've identified it as a bug, not as intended, which makes sense. So just waiting to see what's going on there. The drafts were looking good from my perspective there for a bit. Now I wonder if the Brightwing was picked knowing that was the case. Just waiting for a lobby to come back through. I don't know. They're contacting me as if this is a bigger issue than just remaking a lobby, and I don't know if that's the case here. Sure. Let's we'll be right back, guys. 2. Alrighty, folks, welcome back. Here we are in game number 2. Redraft in, see if we can fly through this quickly. So Dahaka, that was correct. That was the man. That was Kael'thas, pretty sure. Yeah, Greymane. Okay, and then I remember it's Anduin on one side and whatever else on the other. Trying to remember what the blue is. Close enough. It's not exactly how this went. But back to Blaze, ETC, Mephisto were the first 2 pickups. We see Johanna Kira come out. It's perfectly fine. What was the ban? Gul'dan. That's correct. And then Anduin. And then I think we're back to where we need to be in the draft. So let's see what they choose this time, as Brightwing is not possible. Alarak was picked up last time around. But no global healer to kind of stick in a lane. So we're going to see Stukov Alarak. So they're going to still stick more or less with the same draft they were going with before. They're going to take Stukov. Again, kind of an anti-dive healer. It's sort of what Brightwing's role tends to be as well. We're going to see Leeming Rhaegar adjustments. So it was Morales last time. Now we're going to get a Rhaegar. I like the adjustment, though, because Rhaegar does something Morales doesn't, which is things other than heal. So we're going to get some actual macro capability out of it. Now, not the best stats there from True Saint on the hero, but, you know, when you put work into it, we'll see what happens. I do prefer the pick overall. I do like the Rhaegar over top of the Morales. It's a good adjustment. So Leoric is going to be the pickup again. So pretty much the exact same draft from Full Metal Jacket. And with the exception of Stukov being where Brightwing once was, and Rhaegar being where Morales was also. Yeah, so Leeming's going to give them some kill power. Good gank rotations I was talking about with Kira and Leeming. You can definitely go up to that top lane and remove Leoric out of the game. If you catch anyone else on camp rotations, you can be pretty aggressive with it, especially with the Rhaegar. Like, lots of abilities to find engagements. They don't have a frontline engagement really until level 20, but let's ignore that for now. Just get into the game. On the blue side, we have Full Metal Jacket looking for the equalizer. Modus Trollin on the Stukov, Runtime Logic on the ETC, Barber playing Alarak, Undead 752 on the Leoric, and Jugger Rob playing the Mephisto. And on the red side, looking for that domination, that 2-0 to move on to the finals. We have Rackham on the Johanna, True Saint on the Rhaegar, Diet Llama on the Kira, Punk RK Pirate playing the Leeming, and Crafty Trent, my MVP from last game, back on the Blaze. Super excited with this matchup. Let's get in and play. Alrighty. So a bit of mid-fighting going on, but we can see the immediate slip happening from both Li Ming and Blaze to their respective lanes to try to get the edge there. Common strategy, if you don't feel like your 4-man rotation team fight's going to work out for you, you know, you can split a bit on this map and not miss the experience. ETC definitely is going to generally have control over the try here. And it's going to be difficult for Johanna, especially early game, to be able to step up through it and control that space. So we're not going to see a lot of rotations coming through. But we are going to see immediate focus onto the siege camp, which is what I like to see from Bloodbath and Beyond. Rhaegar is going to go in there. Nice shots over the wall there, too, from Li Ming to make sure that it gets done quickly. And I'm hoping that they're leveraging this fast capture on the camp into a quick bruiser camp, because putting pressure onto Leoric early when he doesn't have that wave clear is actually a really good way to get a nice advantage in that top lane. As Blaze is going to slowly lose out 1v1 versus Leoric. He doesn't really win that matchup. Even with talents coming in later, it gets a little bit more hairy, so we'll have to see. Especially with Fealty to Death, not my favorite pick on this map. I'm much a bigger fan of Ostein's Renewal, but it is a pretty much just, you don't have to think about it. You clear waves, you're gonna, and minions die on both sides, you're just gonna get heals. So it definitely has a nice passive benefit that you don't have to worry too much about. And Gone is trying to interrupt my cast here by jumping in front of my screen. Stop it. Alrighty, so bottom lane control with 4 heroes. We are probably going to see Leoric try to do the double soaking, but right now he's busy trying to keep Blaze off of the point. And Blaze, again, he can't just sit here and trade with Leoric super long. He can stall this out for a good while, and I do love the bruiser camp being pushed up here. Now we're going to see any focus from Bloodbath and Beyond into pushing with that, but it's not being cleared quickly, so it's going to get a little bit of free value. Kira finally making the rotation up here. And that's going to put Undead in a bad spot here, because Kira will put the pressure she needs to be able to force him out of there. And we can see him quickly retreating. And in the bottom lane, it's a 3v3. Nice power slide popping onto Punk Arcade Pirate. But it looks like Jugger Rob's going to go down. That's a great kill by True Saint. Using that Rhaegar damage to secure a kill on the low health target. Very well done positionally there. Blaze rotating into the mid lane. See if he can pick this up, but I think Alarac's going to be able to delay it. And now he's pretty low on health. Does drop his shield, though, to stay alive. And I have to say, that's good use of that talent. Great double stun right onto Barber with the rotate from Rhaegar. Rhaegar almost feeling like the DPS we need here on the side of Bloodbath and Beyond. Putting a lot of pressure onto both Runtime Logic and onto Barber there. And this is going to be first Dragonite going to Bloodbath and Beyond. So starting off strong yet again here in game number 2. Very good control of the map using macro, like we were saying before. Their wave clear superior. Their camp clear is superior. Great punt from Runtime Logic onto Runtime Logic. Is going to get a kill. It was a great kick by Blaze. Crafty Trent picking up where he left off in game number 1. Just making plays here for Bloodbath and Beyond. Another big punt onto Alarac. Just make sure he's not doing any extra damage to the Dragonite. They've got the front wall down, which is going to help give them control there, and they're going to make that rotation into the bottom lane. He's still got 21 seconds on this. Like, he really doesn't have to push hard onto the structures. He just has to clear waves, throw fire onto the towers, maybe get a couple auto attacks hits in there. He really doesn't have to pressure this hard. I also really love the idea that Bloodbath and Beyond were able to get the Blaze into the Dragonite. And that's a big kick coming out from Jugger Rob there. Good counter pull there from Alarac, trying to put pressure onto Crafty Trent, but as one of the highest health pool heroes in the game, Blaze definitely requires focus fire to go down. And that shield there just gives him that little extra boost to health, kind of on demand. I'm liking the use of it. It's actually getting good value. Oil Dispersal and Grill and Kill. Not a big fan of the Grill and Kill build, but hey, you know what? He's been playing fine this game, so nothing wrong with that there. Aetherwalker build, Calamity and Dominance. Much more common these days. It is Show of Force, even with the slight nerfs that came out to couple of his talents, but still powerful combo. But Alaric still's only managed to hit about 2%. So he's not finding those combos commonly enough to get those stacks up nice and high that we'd like to see. So we do see Leoric attempting now to establish map control with the double soak. So he's going to be rotating mid-top, mid-top. Rhaegar here is making sure that he catches the mid experience, although he's probably out of range there. I'm not entirely sure if he's picking that up. But 10s are picked up first by Bloodbath and Beyond, and they are going to pick those up right away. Blessed Shield, Wave of Force, Final Strike, Combustion again, and Ancestral. So ETC goes in for an engagement, but kind of gets counter-engaged. Rackham, though, very low on mana. He's not going to have a whole lot of sustain into this fight, and he's probably going to have to back out here or, you know, get into trouble. I think he's already burned his Unstoppable, so this is going to be tough to get out. And in fact, Runtime Logic, realizing that's the case, drops the Mosh Pit, secures the kill, almost dies himself from the Li Ming damage, but Full Meta Jacket, signs of life starting to come into the game here, finding that kill on Johanna with a bit of a misplay there from Rackham. He had no mana, and he had already burnt his Unstoppable, which makes it very difficult for him to peel himself out of those situations. Top still very much controlled by Blaze, as again, Leoric isn't focusing on top lane control. He's just focusing on macro through double lane soaking. A very interesting play here from Bloodbath and Beyond. They're going to use Li Ming with no mana and Johanna to stop this bruiser push in the bottom lane while they steal the bruisers out from under the nose of Full Meta Jacket here in the top right corner, or left corner. And they already have their own bruisers pushing up the mid lane. In fact, Undead taking a lot of damage here from Blaze, might actually die. That kill, Crafty Trent just schooling people on this Blaze. But they are sacrificing bottom control for this, which is a scary kind of endeavor. Rhaegar already making the rotation back here to see if he can pump up the bottom lane. Kira also making it down here, but Punk RK has no mana. I mean, straight up no mana here. He's not going to be able to do anything else. And bottom fort is down. Top fort's taking a lot of pressure here, but I don't think it's going to die. I think it's actually going to clear up with that wave pushing in. So kind of a net win in a way. But bottom shrine channeled. 13's almost in place. It looks like Bloodbath and Beyond is looking for that Dragon Knight play. They might be able to force a fight here in the mid lane. But 5v5 team fights is kind of what FMJ wants to see in these matchups. And they're kind of stuck here now in the mid lane because they're too afraid to give up the objective to Bloodbath and Beyond. And Bloodbath, then realizing that's the case, is just going to go ahead and macro, knowing that they can't force the fight on their terms that they want. Are going to grab the Giants quickly, and they're going to make the invasion call here and steal these Giants away, and they should be able to get away with it. A Durance of Hate coming out to root them in place so no picks happen, while both channels mid and top happen. But they did successfully grab that camp. But now they're kind of in the same spot, although the gank might be coming in. Kira looking to see if she can put pressure onto Leoric, is successfully doing so. Bottom lane is in process of being cleared up by Full Meta Jacket with the 4-man squad. They're going to make sure they maintain control over the bottom lane, but Blaze is going to be able to secure top due to that rotation coming out from Kira. Progrock being finished there by ETC is going to give them a bit more sustain here in the bottom lane. Progrock is one of those sneaky talents. Now, Rhaegar's not in a great spot. I am not sure about his positioning there. Realizing he's not in a great spot, he tries to peel himself out. The mosh pit comes out, gets immediately interrupted, and Drugger Rob now, big trouble. I'm not sure what he's going to do here if Kira goes for the kill, but not seeing him in the bush, doesn't actually find it. Final cut does come out, to his final strike does come out, puts pressure onto them, and they back away. No kills happening. Blaze, though, is not going to live through this 1v1, and this is kind of what I was talking about before. The 1v1s don't generally go in his favor, although he's going to peel himself out. Very good Blaze play. I have to say that Crafty Trent really knows that hero well and has been proving it So a bit of CC popping in on Johanna is going to drop Unstoppable. A little bit late, though. Doesn't really negate any of the CC, as it already gone out. Man, better off saving that for later. Alarak stepping up to see if she can put pressure into it, but instead eats a bunch of damage. But Stukov is there to even it up. Blaze still trying to put pressure onto this Leoric, and given the fact that he did not back, is not going to be able to do so. He's not going to be able to out-sustain a Leoric here in lane. He's only just going to somewhat maintain this, but the rotation finally coming in from Kira might be enough. Leoric, realizing the writing's on the wall, is going to back out here and pretty much secede top lane. Although, there's no one to delay mid, so that's going to be Dragonite for full mana jacket. Completely out-rotated here by FMJ. BBB is now on the defensive, giving up the first Dragonite of the game to full meta jacket. That was very well rotated. Bit of an overcommitment from BBB in the top lane. Relying on Blaze to really find the advantage there. And I think if he'd backed, that might have been, you know, sacrifice a little bit of the lane experience to get yourself back to full health, then pressure the Leoric, and you might be in a better spot. But he hadn't backed up since he killed Leoric the last time. And of course, Leoric doesn't mind dying every once in a while. He gets kind of a free health spawn. So mid fork going to go down, but that's it for the Dragonite. It's not going to be able to get much more done. He's going to see if he can snipe this well with it, I think. Or he's just popping up to see if he can put a little bit of upper lane pressure. Not sure if they're going to be able to get the well, though. ETC, maybe a little bit overextended, but nothing really in place to lock him down. He's going to walk away. Rhaegar going into the Lightning Shield build instead of the Totem. And I wonder if that's a bit of a misplay, as they do have limited CC. Blaze making a very questionable call on this camp steal by himself. The rotation does come through. He does realize the rotation is coming. But they get the root plus the follow-up Durance of Hate root and a bunch of knockbacks, but that was kind of counter-synergistic. Blaze just turns around, lands a 3-man stun, hits a combustion on both frontliners, and this fight just turned heavily against full meta jacket. And they're going to lose 2 heroes, maybe even 3. That great wave of force is going to secure the kill onto Mephisto. You see Diet Llama seeing if he can hit the final strike there. Does get interrupted by Alarak. Nothing's going to be gained from that, but I do think they're going to steal this camp here, get the bot camp, and see if they can at least push out the bottom fort here. In the meantime, we have a bruiser camp pushing in the top lane, and if this is not contested soon, it's probably going to take that fort. And in fact, given the wave that we have in the top lane with all those minions, it's almost a certainty. And Leoric here is in the bottom lane trying to clear out these giants. They're going to get a bunch of free shots onto the fort, actually. And that's going to continue. He does not clear out camps all that quickly. But they did manage to save the top fort. So Alarak and Stukov making that rotation quickly enough. No, I don't know. This wave still might get it, as they're going to commit down in the bottom lane. So I like, again, macro control from BBB is really great. They are 6 kills to 1. You could say in everything but structures, they're ahead. And they're so close to getting both top and bottom forts, but unable to quite secure it with the lack of siege damage. They don't have great siege damage, really. They have Li Ming, which is alright, but Rhaegar can if he can auto-attack. Huge 4-man Entomb, though, with the Durance of Hate, but it's Leoric that dies, as they all just focus fire him down. And that's actually going to turn the fight. Huge 4-man stun into another combustion. They get the kill on Alarak before the combustion even comes out. I don't even think it landed on anybody, but they do find Jugger Rob again. And BBB winning another huge team fight. Pre-level 20s, but post-level 10s. These team fights have been going in their favor. They're not going to pressure down this fort, I guess, assuming that the minions will probably secure it, and I don't think they're wrong with that. They're probably going to get it. Instead, prioritizing the Dragonite, which I can't fault them for, seems like a smart idea here. No one in the mid lane to contest the Blaze. He's going to get a free channel on it. ETC is going to see if he can interrupt the Li Ming, but too little, too late. And I think we're going to see another kill in the bottom lane. Stukov going down to True Saint, Diet Llama, and Rackham. I think he overextended a little bit there, seeing if he can get onto the point and stall it out a little bit, but really just was not in a good position. And this is scary. That staggered death on Stukov means that this keep here is in trouble from a full health Dragon Knight. Li Ming hasn't made the rotation down, trying to maintain lane parity in the top lane, but I honestly think with a level 20 advantage, the best thing she could be doing here is pushing down this bottom lane, looking for that victory here. As with that staggered death, that's very much what we could be talking about. But instead, they're going to feed a lot of health on that Dragon Knight to get nothing more than a keep wall, and that is kind of an unfortunate turn of events for BBB. They do get the stun onto Undead. He's going to get hit again, and that's 2 nailed by the combustion. With that kill on Leoric, though, and perhaps Jugger Rob yet again, that's looking like a bottom keep is definitely forfeit here. And I have to say it, end of game could be potential here. They don't have anything to push in. Wave is gone. They don't have the wave pushing up yet. And they are going to make the call to go in. Mephisto is not here, so they're going to be relying on Alarak defense. Modus trolling, though, getting a lot of pressure put on him. Might be enough to kill him. He finds his way into the altar of the stones. Big mosh pit lands on 2. Crafty Trent is not in a great position, and there's no damage coming out onto the core, but an Ancestral comes out to keep him alive. We see a 3-man power slide, kill onto Stukov. Now things are not looking good for FMJ. Another Entomb comes out, but it is Leoric that goes down. Now it's going to be runtime logic, and I think the writing on the wall is here. BBB coming out in crazy fashion, finding the kills, finding the advantages, 16-1, and they're going to pull off the upset over the #1 seed Full Meta Jacket with a 2-0 victory here in the semifinals. Nuts. GG. Well, congratulations, Bloodbath and beyond. Yeah, Punk. Yeah, I do definitely want to do an interview if we can get a hold of the guys. But let's talk about the statistics really quick before we get to that. Punk RK Pirate with 70,000 damage, getting it done on Li Ming. We saw a lot of great play from Crafty Trent. I don't think I called him out enough, but we also saw True Saint getting in there and making things happen. It's a solid front line of Johanna. But I think my MVP of the game is, again, Crafty Trent with that Blaze. He just made so many plays happen and got so much work done. Great combustions. He got great trades. It was fantastic. There's the talent build if you want to see what this crazy man is playing these days. And everyone else on the line there. We did hit level 20s right before the end of the game. And let's see if I can reach out to somebody. Yeah, let's go to a break while we set up the interviews, and we'll be right back, folks. welcome everybody back to the stream. We are going to have our interview with our semifinal winners, Bloodbath and Beyond, taking out the number 1 seed. I have Rackham in here today. How's it going, my friend?
Can you say that first part again? It sounded so good. The
No
semifinal.
repeats on this channel. It's always first take.
If I sound a little scattered, it's because we are all amped to about 12 during that game. Heck, before the game started, and then we played really well the first game, and then the second game um, kind of smelled blood in the water a little bit and realized we might actually be playing next week, and it got very exciting in our comms. So luckily, my mom wasn't here to hear some of the things I might have said during that. So
I can definitely, I have a lot of opinions on what I think led to your success for the most part, but what was the mindset coming into this matchup for you guys? What type of preparation did you have coming up against the number 1 seed, and what ultimately led to your victory here?
well, so I think the biggest thing was watching the games we played against them, and then I watched some more games this week that they have played, and just kind of deciding what we wanted to do. We went back to during the regular season we lost 2-1, but the game we won was on Towers of Doom. So of course they banned it, so we weren't going to get to play it. I expected that, but I kind of saw what we did that worked, and it wasn't so much that what we did countered them, but it was let's find a roster for us that we know will be okay against them, but it's more more just let's find five players that mesh together fairly well for us. We made a mistake in the early part of the season, worrying too much about banning and what can we take away instead of what can we do to that. So we got together before the game. We said here that we went through a couple 3 lineups. Here, if in an ideal world, here's what we want to play, and everybody knew what role they were going to be in. Or we switched off. I can heal or support, or I can heal or tank, and so can Saint. So we flip back and forth. But it was just that half an hour before the game, kind of getting our heads right and getting focused, saying, here's what we want to do. Not so much let's counter them, but here's what we're going to do. And if we execute it well, yeah, it doesn't matter what they do. So that was our mindset going in.
Well, there you go, and it definitely paid off. We saw in game number 1, in the draft, quite a bit of focus onto Punk Arcade there on the mages, and he picked up the Chromie and looked very good on it. But my MVP for both matches actually was Crafty Trent on that Blaze. Tell me about why that was a first pick hero, other than obvious results that we got from both games.
Well, because we go back and look at our match history and the games where we've had a lot of success. We put Crafty on Blaze, and he's really, really good in the off lane, which he kind of had to be to play Blaze successfully. But then when it comes to team fights, I don't know how he does it, but he just seems to have a knack with always putting his big tanky butt right on top of the right person. And once we get the first kill, then it just goes from there. I mean, I cannot say enough good things about his play this season. He's been really, really good on Blaze. So we said, I want to make sure we get him, and I believe that they have someone, I don't remember who, that plays Blaze. We didn't want to risk them taking Blaze and us having to flex to something else. So I said, let's take him with the first pick. Luckily, Punk is deep enough in his mage roster, so I didn't have to worry about if Jaina gets banned or if Kathas gets banned. He runs four deep. He plays all the burst mages, so it wasn't a problem, and it worked out well.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the second objective in game number 1, which was your map choice, you guys had a great fight over that turret camp and really turned it around from there, leveraging the advantages they had to really find that victory. And I was really impressed with game number 1. Game number 2, we went to Dragonshire. This was not your map pick, but you guys drafted like it was something you were comfortable on. Tell me a little bit about that map pick, and were you feeling pretty confident after that was what was picked up, or were you guys a little bit unsure about your performance on that map, how it was going to go?
Well, I always compile some stats before each game. What maps are we playing well? What maps are they playing well? And we were 2-0 on Dragonshire in the regular season. They were 3-0, I think. That's from memory. So we've had some success on it. One thing that I noticed when I broke down film this week was that Full Metal Jacket. I mean, and by the way, I got to tip my hat to them. Those guys are a really good team. And the thing that I noticed in the games we lost to them was we were slow to rotate the camps. We were just slower on our rotations in general. So we kind of made that a focus. We wanted to make sure that if the camp was up, we were taking it. And we tried to speed that up a little bit, and it just worked. I mean, we got a lot of value, I think, out of the camps in the bottom lane, especially there towards the end of the game, where we got those stacked up. So, and I hope I'm not going to take all the credit in the world because everyone just played amazing tonight. But I think the preparation I was talking about ahead of time, that was one of the points of focus we had. Is our rotations, we got to clean them up and speed them up, and we got some fruits of that.
Yeah, I was generally very impressed with the Game 2 draft and the amount of focus you guys did have on the macro. And I said it during the draft. I said it, once we started the game and throughout that focus on gaining those macro advantages is exactly what opened you guys up to finding those picks, those fights, that you were looking for. And but you guys clutched out the fights well, and that's you have to be able to execute in those situations, and you did, and that's really what leads to good victories on Dragonshire. It's a hard map to keep track of if you don't have great macro, and you guys had the better draft, I think. I did want to touch on the point. Originally, before we did the redraft, you guys picked Morales, and then you switched it to Rhaegar. And the Rhaegar pick was money. It absolutely worked for you fantastically. Why was that not the first time the pick?
So, so the first time we were worried about, was ETC picked before Rhaegar? I don't remember.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we saw the ETC, and Saint wanted the grenade to throw on him, and then we got to the draft the second time, and I don't actually remember why we changed our minds. I think Saint just said, "Nah, I'm okay with Rhaegar," and we went with it. And yeah, like you said, it was money. It just worked. It was biting butts all over the place.
Yeah, honestly, it was the right pick the first time round, but wasn't picked. And I think it might have looked almost a little different if you had Morales instead of Rhaegar there.
So you're saying that there's a darker timeline where that game went off as originally drafted with Morales, and then we don't.
It could have been pretty risky because Mephisto's very good with AoE damage and long sustained team fights, and Morales is not great at AoE healing, and she doesn't help with the macro side of things. And you guys got those camps out because the Rhaegar was there. So I mean, it worked and it was fantastic. Congratulations, guys! First NGS season, 5th seed is going to be going to the Coastal Finals. How are you guys feeling looking forward? You got to be riding Cloud 9, given the fact that you've already taken out probably what you considered your top competition.
Yeah, and I think we're on about Cloud 14. I think Cloud 9 was like at the end of the first game. This is just, and I'm thinking the whole time I was really nervous going into this game because we've lost to them once in the regular season here, once in Heroes Lounge, and they're the one seed. They've been here for several seasons. Like, well, we're really not supposed to be here, but they don't play the games on paper. You have to actually play them. So I was nervous coming in, but we just. And I completely forgot the question. I'm really really pumped right now. A little too much adrenaline. Sorry about that, Zoltoik.
No, the comment pretty much addressed what I was getting at. You guys are feeling great. You took out the kind of the big boogeyman of your side of the division, and I assume you guys are looking forward to those grand finals.
Yes, we are very much looking forward to it. And I don't think everyone on the team was aware that it was a best of 5. I'd actually forgotten about that until I was watching the stream last night. They mentioned it. So, wow, we're going to have to go and get some Red Bull or something. So we'll be ready for it next week.
Anyways, I appreciate all of the feedback we got back here. I'm super excited about your guys' victory here. I think it's to take nothing away from FMJ. They came here, they fought hard. They definitely deserved it, but you guys were hungrier and you got the victory, the 2-0. Why don't you start me off with your shout outs in the night?
I'm going to give a shout out to Full Metal Jacket. I mean, they were phenomenal during the regular season. Beat us there. They played at even though it was a 2-0, it was not a cakewalk. The second game, I think it got a little squirrely in the middle. I was a little fearful. And the other shout outs I have, just 4 shout outs to Punk Pirate, Crafty True, Satan, Diet Llama. Those guys played their freaking hearts out tonight. And, you know, it's not just a 1-star team. We have 5 guys who really come to play, and we really, come to support each other. And I think the team chemistry is just phenomenal right now. We're really clicking on all cylinders. So, I mean, next week, we'll just have to see what happens. And we're the 5 seed, and this is our first season. We're not even supposed to be here, so there's no pressure on us whatsoever. Full Metal Jacket was supposed to be here. Cloud of Mines was supposed to be there, so I think that makes us, probably the more dangerous team next week. It's all gravy from here. There's no pressure on us. I think we're loose.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for joining me today, Rackham, and you have a great night celebrating.
Thanks, man. See ya.
Have a good one. Yep. So that's going to be it for us tonight, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. You can't ask for anything more than upsets, right, during the playoffs. It's what we're all here for. And there's been plenty of it throughout all the divisions. I'm super excited. I want to give a huge shout out to DB Smiley here, hosting everything, making everything run smoothly, making me look good because I'm not doing the camera work. And he is. So always much, much, much better when it's not me handling it. So I can't thank him enough. This was a great experiment that we wanted to put together, and I think it worked out fantastically. Shout out to everybody in chat. If you haven't already, please do hit the follow button. And of course, if you're feeling extra generous, use your Twitch Prime subs here. Hit the biddies and or the tip jar at the bottom of the screen. And it's very much appreciated supporting the channel. That's it for us. Thank you so much, everybody. And we'll catch you next time in the Nexus.